There's a simple but powerful truth about marriage. Most men do not need grand romantic gestures. What they often long for are small, meaningful things that many wives do not always notice. Most men do not say these things out loud. That does not mean the needs are not there. It is often because they were raised to be strong, handle things on their own, and keep their feelings to themselves. Because of that, there are many things men deeply want from their wives, but rarely know how to say. What is important to understand is that these desires are not unreasonable. They are not about being spoiled or demanding too much. They are about feeling loved, respected, understood, and valued in their own home. Here are 10 things many men truly appreciate and quietly wish their wives would do more often. 1. Notice his effort. A lot of men carry heavy pressure every day. They worry about work, finances, responsibility, and being someone their family can rely on. But when they come home, sometimes what they hear is not appreciation, only complaints about what still needs to be done. The truth is, men want to feel seen, too. They want to know their effort matters. Even a simple sentence like, "I know you're working hard," or "Thank you for everything you do for this family," can mean more than people realize. Many wives may think, that's just his responsibility. And yes, it is. But just because something is a responsibility does not mean it should go unnoticed. When a man feels appreciated, he usually wants to keep giving his best. But when everything he does is treated like it is expected and nothing more, he can slowly become distant, quiet, and emotionally disconnected. 2. Listen without immediately judging him. Most men are not naturally great at talking about their emotions. Many only open up when they feel safe enough to do it. If every time they share something, they are met with criticism, arguments, or blame, they will likely stop opening up. What men often want is not a wife who wins every disagreement. They want a partner who knows how to listen. Sometimes he talks about stress at work, and he is not asking for a lecture or a solution. He may simply need someone to sit next to him and say, "That sounds really hard. I know you're tired." That kind of response can go a long way. Sometimes what helps a man most is not advice. It is the feeling of being heard without being judged. 3. Be gentle with him on purpose. People often assume men are always tough, logical, and unaffected. But that is not true. Men need tenderness too. A hug when he looks worn out, a hand on his shoulder as you pass by, a soft question when you notice he seems off. Small gestures like these can have a huge emotional impact. Most men will never say, "I need a hug," or "I need comfort right now." But when their wife offers that kind of warmth without being asked, it stays with them. For many men, closeness is not only physical, it is also emotional. It is feeling softness, warmth, and love from the woman they care about most. That kind of gentleness is what turns a house into a place that actually feels like home. 4. Do not focus only on what he does wrong. Notice what he does right too. Marriage can become exhausting when one person feels like all their flaws are constantly being pointed out. Maybe he works hard, but forgets little things around the house. Maybe he loves his family deeply, but is not naturally expressive. Maybe he is responsible, but sometimes not very thoughtful. If someone is constantly reminded of what they are lacking, eventually they start to feel like they will never be enough. Men deeply appreciate being seen fairly, not praised dishonestly, but recognized honestly. For example, instead of saying, "You're always so insensitive," it may be more helpful to say, "I know you care about this family. I just need you to be a little more aware of how I'm feeling." That still communicates the issue, but in a way that preserves respect and makes him much more open to hearing it. A lot of men are not afraid of pressure in the outside world. What hurts them most is feeling like they come home to someone who only sees their failures. 5. Respect his dignity, especially in front of other people. One thing many men are very sensitive about is how their wives speak about them in front of others. A joke at his expense in public, comparing him to another woman's husband, telling embarrassing stories about him for laughs. These things may seem small, but they can cut deeply. Many husbands will not react in the moment. They may smile or pretend it does not bother them, but often they remember it for a long time. What most men want is simple. If there is a problem, address it privately, not publicly. When a man feels that his wife protects his dignity in front of others, it deepens his respect and love for her. And there is something powerful about knowing your spouse is careful with your honor. 6. Give him space instead of trying to control everything. Love is not control. Care is not constant surveillance. A lot of men feel overwhelmed when they are always being questioned, doubted, checked up on, or made to feel like they need permission for every little thing. What men often love is feeling trusted. When a wife gives him healthy space, he feels respected as an adult, not managed like a child. A man who feels trusted is often more likely to act responsibly. A man who feels constantly controlled may start shutting down, hiding things, or pulling away. Space does not mean emotional distance. It just means letting him have room to breathe, think, rest, spend time with friends, or enjoy healthy interests without making him feel guilty for it. Healthy trust is one of the most mature forms of love. 7. Tell him clearly what you need instead of expecting him to guess. One of the biggest frustrations many men experience in marriage is feeling like they are constantly expected to read minds. She is hurt, but says she is fine. She is upset, but says, "You should know why." She is disappointed, but never explains what happened. Then when he gets it wrong, he is labeled uncaring. The reality is, most men are not naturally good at picking up subtle emotional signals the way many women hope they will be. They respond much better to clarity. If you need more support, say that. If you want more attention, say that calmly. If something hurt you, explain what it was. That does not make the relationship less romantic. It actually makes it healthier. Unclear communication prevents resentment and brings people closer. A man usually feels a great sense of relief when he is with a woman who says what she needs instead of expecting him to decode everything. 8. Let him feel like he matters in your life. Many men carry a deep desire to feel useful. They want to feel like their presence makes a difference, like they are contributing something meaningful to the life of the woman they love. That is why many men do not want to feel like they are only there to make money or fulfill duties. They want to know they matter beyond what they provide. Sometimes something as simple as asking for his help, valuing his opinion, or saying, "I feel safer with you," can mean a lot. For many men, feeling genuinely needed by the woman they love is deeply fulfilling. But this does not mean a woman has to be weak or dependent. It simply means everyone wants to know they have a meaningful place in their partner's heart. 9. Encourage him, especially when he is trying to grow. Men often receive very little affirmation. Once they are married, that can become even less frequent. But encouragement can be incredibly powerful. When a husband is trying to be more patient, more present, more thoughtful, or more responsible, noticing that effort matters. A lot of wives are quick to point out what their husbands are doing wrong, but stay silent when they do something right. Over time, that can make a man feel like no matter what he improves, it will never be enough. A sentence like, "I've noticed you've been more patient with the kids lately," or "I really appreciated the way you handled that," can carry a lot of weight. Men do not grow only through criticism. They grow through encouragement too, especially from the woman they love most. 10. Make him feel like you are on the same team. In many marriages, the biggest problem is not the absence of love. It is the feeling that the couple is no longer working together. Every disagreement becomes about who is right. Every mistake becomes more evidence against each other. Every hardship becomes something to blame on the other person. Over time, the husband starts to feel like his wife is no longer beside him, but against him. What men truly long for is the feeling that no matter how hard life gets, they still have someone in their corner. Not someone who excuses everything, but someone who is committed to facing life together. Someone who says, "We'll figure this out," instead of, "This is all your fault." That sense of partnership is incredibly powerful for a man. It helps him feel less alone, less guarded, and more open-hearted in the marriage. In the end, what men want most from their wives is not perfection. They do not need a woman who always says the right thing, always does everything perfectly, or never makes mistakes. What they need is someone who brings them peace. Someone who understands that behind a man's strength, there is often stress, fatigue, disappointment, and emotional need that rarely gets spoken aloud. When a wife knows how to appreciate him, speak gently, respect him, listen well, communicate clearly, and stand beside him, a man often does not just love her more. He also becomes more motivated to become a better man. And maybe that is one of the most beautiful things about marriage. It is not about who wins. It is not about who is stronger. It is about two imperfect people choosing to love each other with grace. If you are a wife, maybe you do not need to make huge changes all at once. Maybe it starts with something small, a word of gratitude, a warm hug, a calm conversation, a moment of standing beside him instead of against him. Sometimes the little things are exactly what keep a marriage from growing cold. And if you are a husband reading this, remember that wives have deep emotional needs too. Strong marriages do not last because one person keeps trying alone. They last because both people learn how to love each other in ways that truly matter. Because in the end, love is not just a feeling. Love is also the willingness to notice what the person next to you has been carrying in silence.